What's up, everybody? Welcome to Moose Milk Podcast, episode 67. 67. Woo! We're here. We're live. We're together.
We're using two cameras still. Oh,
we got echo, but it's all
right.
We'll
be good. Send request.
I hope everybody's doing well. Matt is joining us via his phone and in person.
We can make sure everybody knows. Hey, Ryan, you gotta put that shit over there sometime. You guys get to look at the door.
Oh, wait. Oh, that's bad. There you go. We're doing it outside because otherwise my dog will bark the entire time. And so we're doing it from a trailer outside my house.
Thankfully, he had this trailer handy.
I do. It's actually my parents' trailer. But yeah, I think we're good.
Is it echoing? Does anybody know if it's echoing?
Let us know in the chat if we have audio echo from using two cameras. But I think we're good.
I think we're also good.
Yeah, I hope everybody's doing well. Hope everybody had a good week. Obviously, we took last week off. Matt's been traveling. He's here in person.
I am.
This is his last night here, so we figured we'd do this live together.
Yep, we missed last week, so...
Yeah.
Right? Can somebody, if there's anyone who could just type in and confirm that there's no serious echo here, because we just want to make sure it's good before we get into this here. But, yeah.
So how's been vacation?
Vacation has been good.
That's great. It's so weird doing this in person.
I know. It's really weird.
There's no delay between response and answer.
It's true. It's good. No, it's been good. It's been COVID full. Everybody who, I didn't say everybody, but a good chunk of the people that came to visit all ended up getting COVID. So down on the phone we go.
That's not gonna work.
Yeah, that's fine. Whatever you got. There you go. Yeah, so it's been annoying in that sense. COVID's
everywhere in Ontario.
Yeah.
It's fucking brutal.
So I'm surprised that we're not going home with it. I hope we don't. So
what's the travel like for getting on a plane? Do you have to test before you get on the plane?
You have to show proof of vaccination, and you have to say that you aren't sick or whatever, right? So,
but you don't have to have a rapid test or anything before you get on?
No. I think that's all been lifted. So
I haven't traveled at all. So.
I actually don't think that was in place within Canada. I think it's only
if you leave the country.
Yeah, I think so. So, when we went to the US, we had to do test after test after test after test.
Yeah. My sister went to a couple hockey games, and she said it was fucking annoying because you had to go super early to make sure you had time to get the test back and all that shit. But I haven't been, so I haven't left Windsor really in 2 years. We went to the cottage last summer, but
yeah,
other than that,
that's still pretty local.
Yeah, it was a 4-hour drive within Ontario. Yeah. I haven't gone to a concert in Detroit since 2019. So
yeah, that's yeah, it is. But yeah, so we're here tonight. We're covering episodes 3 and 4 of Moon Knight from Disney Plus show. Spoiler alerts. We'll be spoiling the shit out of it.
We will. And our theories on where this is going to end, because I have a few. But before we get into that, what have you been watching? Anything worth talking about?
Well, we can talk about our hangout from last Saturday. So I was home last Saturday.
I forgot already. My fault, though.
So yeah, I was home last Saturday, and me and Ryan hung out, and we decided we played a little Guitar Hero, and then we did a little WWF Royal Rumble 93?
No, 98. 93 would be super early.
So, yeah.
We watched Royal Rumble 98, and it was joyful.
It was very fun.
Yeah. You couldn't do a lot of the stuff they do now, or then now, but it's so nostalgic to see just the entrance themes and people that weren't super popular wrestlers that you forgot about that coming back. Like Rikishi, we were laughing hilarious about fucking.
Did you see my message today with May? What's her name?
May Young. Yeah. May Young wasn't on that. Yeah, she was. She came out for the puppies. The puppies. they did a whole thing where it was a swimsuit competition, and then Mae Young came out. And for people that don't know, Mae Young's like 65 years old in 1998. She passed.
I don't think so, but I don't know.
She'd be older.
But yeah, I don't know.
Anyway, so yeah, there's a lot of things that like clearly would not fly now for wrestling in '98, but we had some laughs, man. It was fun.
It was very fun. It made me like go down a rabbit hole. I like got home from his place and I started looking up the WWE Ultimate figures, like the ones with all the swappable stuff.
You sending me pics of all these like different figures. I was just like, oh god, you're gonna go down this rabbit hole.
All I can say is I'm grateful that I didn't. That all the ones main ones that I want are like really expensive, because if they were like, if the main one I wanted were like $50-$60, I'd have been like, let's fucking do this.
Yeah.
But like, I want Bret Hart, I want Stone Cold, I want The Rock, like the Rock, not like the more new with the big shoulder tattoo. I want like the old Rock, right? So,
right. Before he had a sleeve of tattoos and shit.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, so I'm glad that those were expensive, because that would have been another thing I would have started to buy probably.
But if we ever go to like a comic convention or anything like that, where they have like a shit ton of old toys like that, I bet you could find some cool ones for reasonable price.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. So
I'm pretty specific on the ones I want. I want those ultimates, the ones that have all the options. I could probably get other ones cheaper, but I just want those are the ones in particular. If I'm going to buy them, those are the ones.
Yeah. So, yeah. No, I would totally buy them if they were like $20 each. I would buy a bunch, but like when you're looking at like $100 a piece or more, it's just there's no figure on earth that I'll pay $100 for. It's just not happening.
Well, it's not the same for me.
No, I know.
Yes, yeah.
But like maybe if there was like a really like cool Batman that was like 100-ish, I would be like, all right, that's worth it for me. But like, there's like
one-off kind of thing.
Yeah, it wouldn't be like a massive collection like yours. It'd be like, oh, these are the 6 figures that are most important to me. Like if there was a dope ass shredder, I would probably buy that too.
Yeah, there are a couple.
I remember when they brought back the Turtles, like whatever it was, 2006 or 8 or
like the animated ones.
No, the
movie, like the Michael Bay ones.
Yeah, the Michael Bay ones. There was like a really cool shredder, I think, from the first movie.
I don't remember, because I didn't really get too into the movie. So.
But I think I only seen it like once or twice, but I would have to look for it. But I remember I'm seeing it, and I was like, oh, that's a pretty dope shredder. But now it's probably like fucking $200, because it was
probably
10 years ago.
Probably.
Yeah.
Things age and expensive.
Anything else you watch?
I don't remember what else I watched.
I know you've been traveling, so
yeah.
Time to sit down and watch.
Yeah, I kind of watched. I've been watching my podcasts that I watched Bonegos and Toying Around Unboxing Thursdays yesterday.
You were on the pod this week.
I was on the pod. I was on Astonishing News and Reviews. Tuesday night pod. I was using my mom's Wi-Fi, and I got kicked off like literally 5 times. I had to like go, and we were doing like trivia.
Yeah.
So I felt so bad because I kept like ghosting on my partner.
As soon as I saw that you were doing trivia, I was like, God damn it, I wish I would have watched that one, because I could have got some of these answers right, maybe.
You probably could have.
Yeah. I don't know if it was toy trivia.
It's not toy trivia. It was like the 80s and 90s pop culture kind of stuff.
I could have probably done
TV shows
really well on the 90s stuff.
Yeah.
The 80s stuff, not so much. Unless it was all related to Elf.
There was an Elf question, which they got, but if they would have given it to me, I would have got it.
100% you would have got it. There's nobody that's a bigger fan of Elf than you.
I love Elf.
Elf himself is not as big a fan of Elf as you are.
Hey, really?
Yeah. The show is so bad, but it's so good.
Elf is so relevant, but the family is so outdated. It's good. I love it.
But it's all those shows, man. Like, they just don't hold up. It's like me watching X-Files again. As I mentioned 2 weeks ago, I started rewatching X-Files. I'm into season 3, so I'm like 60 episodes in about. It's so dated in certain aspects of like early 90s, like all the cell phones and shit are like those early cell phones where you had to pull up the antenna and flip it open and be like, yo. And it's like, they never have signal when it matters and all that shit. I mean, I don't have signal when it matters, so fuck. But, there's a lot of stuff like that where like the computers are opening up like DOS and like typing in like all this stuff. And I'm just like, oh, Jesus. But, like a lot of the episodes have like early, like, AI taking over and stuff like that. Like that's a storyline of like this building has like an AI system built into it, and it becomes like self-aware.
I can't see, it's far away.
X-Files.
Hell yeah, X-Files. Somebody said that.
Jen Holland. I know Jen Holland.
That's
Thankfully.
Jen Holland.
Yeah, X-Files is the best. And it's worth watching on Disney Plus. Like I said, probably in the first time I was talking about it, is they updated all the visuals. So it's widescreen. It's like, I think probably 1080p rather than like standard definition like it was in 93. And it looks a lot better, it plays a lot better, but it's still like some of the storylines you're like, ooh, this is definitely 1994. Like, you know, it feels it, but
yeah,
it's still really good. It holds up.
Nice. So what else? So I don't think there's anything else I've been watching. I don't think. Oh, that's not true. I did watch one other thing. I watched Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
It's good.
It was good. It was fine. I mean, I remembered it. Man, I swear to God, I know we've touched on this before, but as I get older, I'm just becoming so much more like sensitive.
Oh, same. Totally.
Like, man, I think every time I watch Guardians 2, the Yondu death is like gets me worse.
Yep.
And like at the end where they do like the Ravager funeral and like what's his name, his co-pilot or whatever, Craig Craiglin,
I think, yeah.
Whatever, and then he's like, yeah. I'm just like, oh my God,
that's so
sad.
Yeah. It's a good movie. It's not as good as the first one, but
I agree. Yeah. I wanted to watch that one in particular because what was the reason? Oh, I heard a couple songs off the soundtrack when I was driving back from Toronto. And I was like, oh, I remember this. Oh, listen to this.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh, let's watch this.
This is weird because I don't know where to look. I want to look at you as you're talking, but I also don't want to look sideways.
I'm just kind of rotating. I look straight, and then I look at this camera for a bit, and then I look at you. Hi, what's up, gorgeous? Yeah. Who's this? This is easy to read names. Guardians Volume 2 is great. Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, it's a good one. I like it. I dig it.
Yeah, they're not popping up over here.
I know. See, that's what happens with me for some reason sometimes.
Our phones don't like each other. I think it's the Apple Android.
The dual.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck you.
Well, and like I said, like Android has so many less options on Instagram than it does for Apple.
It's weird.
The app is fucked. I don't know. But anyway, I really should go back and watch a few of those Marvel movies, even though I've done a full rewatch, like whatever it was. But there's some
last year.
Yeah, but some of those movies I've only seen once. Or like Black Widow, I've only watched once.
I've seen Black Widow a couple times.
Guardians 2, I've only seen probably 2 or 3 times. Same with Ant-Man and the Wasp.
I think Guardians 2, now that it's been a minute since I've watched it, it kind of like made it better. Like, yeah, because I didn't really remember it as well, and it's like I didn't watch it right after Guardians 1. I think I remember my biggest criticism of Volume 2 was that it was just really similar to Volume 1. Really.
Yeah. But I mean, like, so was Iron Man 2 compared to 1. So was Ant-Man and the Wasp compared to Ant-Man. Like, a lot of those movies are very
that's
similar.
True. That's just kind of
that's more, I guess, thing. But I'm excited for Guardians 3. Like, I hope it's really good.
Me too. In the meanwhile, we can talk about the Thor trailer before we start about.
I've only watched it once.
Oh wait, you didn't really love it.
I can't even see. It's so far away. My eyes don't work that good.
Sorry guys, our eyes are great.
Yeah, BC Sasquatch giant.
Oh, BC Sasquatch giant. What up, dog?
I can't scroll.
I'm gonna pop back on it on this one again.
Not much to rewatch with Ant-Man and the Wasp. Yeah, I agree. It's not great. It's fine, but it's definitely lower tier Marvel for me. Like it would be in the bottom 10 probably for me.
Ant-Man and the Wasp?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it better than the first one, I think.
I like the first one.
Yeah. I like Luis.
Luis is funny. Luis is like the best part of the movie. I mean, I love Paul Rudd too, but
yeah, me too. Paul Rudd's great.
What else did I watch? Oh, there's a new documentary on Netflix about John Wayne Gacy.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah.
It's like an hour per episode. I think there's 3 episodes. It's like about 3 hours in length. Watch that. It's as fucked up as you would think it would be with John Wayne Gacy. It's not as graphic as it could be. Like they definitely left a lot of things out because they didn't want it to be unwatchable by the most normal people. So like if you're not super into true crime, it's watchable in a way where you're not going to be like, oh, this is way too graphic and like fucked up, I can't do it. But it definitely has moments where you're going to be like, yikes, this is hard to watch because it's bad. But it's a good documentary. I mean, it was interesting, but there's a lot of detail left out. So if you're super curious about,
is it a series or is it just one?
Just 3 episodes.
Okay, hour long each.
Yeah, so it's 3 hours total. But it's good. But like if you've watched or listened to any podcast or anything about John Wayne Gacy, you're not going to learn anything like.
Yeah, it's just kind of like the main.
Like the whole premise of it is like his lawyer or somebody, publicist, whatever, while he's in jail, recorded all these conversations with him. So it's like from his eyes kind of thing is like the premise. But like he doesn't really say anything of value in the entire movie. Like it's not like he has some shocking revelation of like he's a piece of shit. You know, whatever.
Right. Makes sense. Let me see. I'm just going to catch up on some chat. Yeah. For some reason, it's very good.
Easy to rename. Since got the Ravager Thor figure a few days. It's really neat. The painted Stormbreaker is such an upgrade.
Oh, nice. I'm looking for one myself. I wasn't going to get it originally, but I really like his look. That red leather jacket with the jeans and the tank top.
That's the one that they just like announced.
Yeah, that's the Ravager. They're calling it like Ravager Thor look. Kind of go with the Star-Lord. And
I saw somebody post that on Instagram in one of the feeds, but
yeah, I really like I like the look of the figure, so I'm like, and the face looks good and the head sculpt looks good, so I'm like, I kind of want to get it just for that alone.
Did they announce a Jane figure?
Yeah, so they actually did a whole wave of Thor figures leaks a couple weeks ago, like with no heads up, no one even knew they were coming, and someone posted like the whole case.
Right.
So it has, it's all movie figures. So it's Thor in his Ravager costume, Thor in his blue and gold armor, and then it has Star-Lord, a teenager Groot, a Gord or God, the guy Christian Bale's playing. I can't remember.
Oh, yeah.
The God Killer.
Gord, I think. I don't know.
Yeah, whatever his name was. And Jane and Valkyrie, King Valkyrie. So.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So
yeah, the trailer was good. I mean, it wasn't like
we're going into the trailer, folks.
It didn't blow me away. I like the tone. It's comedy-ish. I don't know. I still don't know. It's weird. I'm not used to doing this with somebody beside me. It's so awkward.
This isn't working, and
the trailer was fine, but I like the tone. I like the comedic area of it. Taika Waititi is always is my type of writer and stuff. Like I find him funny.
Me too.
But like I don't really know what the movie was about necessarily. Like it didn't show a lot that I was like, oh, we know what this plot is going into it. Like Ragnarok felt like it had like a very serious plot from the first trailer, and like this didn't really feel like I really knew what the movie was going for. But I enjoyed it.
I feel like this trailer was really just like a showcase of what we're gonna get. It didn't really give us much of the story, but it's like you're gonna get Thor in a couple different costumes. You're gonna get comic accurate scenes, like that scene when he walks up and there's that big. Gore? Yeah, Gore the God Butcher.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, you're going to get comic accurate scenes like that one where he goes up and there's that big frost thing on the side, laying on it. Like, that's literally like picture to picture, like comic book to movie. Like, cool. Yeah, it's awesome. And then, like, we know we're getting Korg, we know we're getting Guardians, so we know we're getting Jane, we see Tessa Thompson.
Do we think Guardians are going to have a big part in that movie? Because I don't know.
I feel like we're going to spend the first, like, quarter of the movie with them, or maybe even just the beginning, where we kind of see where Thor gets back to being normal Thor, and I don't know, I guess it's hard to say.
I think it starts with him in space with the Guardians.
Me too.
And I have a feeling that seeing Star-Lord and Gamora kind of rekindle maybe their like love or friendship or whatever maybe makes him like nostalgic or like homesick kind of thing for like maybe Jane or whatever, that maybe he can rekindle that relationship or something like that.
Or maybe he finds out she has cancer, because in the comic books Jane gets the power of Thor, but has terminal cancer. So like she's like sick, but when she wields the hammer, she is like invincible and superhuman or whatever. So it's like this balance of like real life, like mortality versus.
I could see her signing up for that, like that being the storyline of like, why she wants to come back. Yeah, that's compelling.
Yeah. So my question to you is: do you think at the end of this, we're going to see Thor's story wrap up and Jane's going to take his place? Or you don't think so? Yeah, I don't.
I cannot see Natalie Portman signing on for like a 5-movie deal.
Me neither.
I have a feeling this is a one-off, or maybe she comes back for like
one more
tied into like her giving it back up or her passing on, you know, kind of the torch or something again. Yeah. But I kind of have a feeling that they may very well end this movie with Jane dying.
From cancer.
Well, I don't know if that's necessarily the storyline they're going to stay with.
Yeah, no, for sure.
But yeah, no, I could see that being like a very emotionally like pivotal moment of the movie is like him dealing with loss again. Like he's lost both his parents, he's lost his brother, and now he's losing Jane.
Yeah.
And like, you know.
Yeah. Easy to read name says, if you believe some rumors, the trailer primarily shows only early scenes from the movie. Yeah, which is pretty common, I think, right? We see that happen a lot. I think Spider-Man No Way Home was like that.
Except for maybe that was the second trailer, but that battle scene where they...
Oh, yeah, that was the second trailer.
Yeah.
That was the second trailer. But that's the thing, too, right? Is like, this is only a teaser. It's our first look. The teasers don't usually give away a lot of information. It's usually... you know, only the relevant stuff, right? So,
I mean, even the Moon Knight trailer was only like the first episode, like very brief moments of the first episode. Yeah, we barely got anything more than that. I think Marvel's pretty good at not spoiling major plot points in their trailers.
Yeah, I would agree with that. They do a good job of it.
Because there's so many movies where you like go see the movie and you're like, well, the best parts were in the trailer. Yeah. Every major action scene was from the trailer, and like that's a letdown. Yeah. I mean, look like Morbius.
Yeah, I was gonna say Venom and Morbius. Yeah. Kind of both, right?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm excited for it, and it's really close. I can't believe that Doctor Strange is only 2 weeks away.
I know. I can't wait for Doctor Strange.
Oh. It feels like it's been like years in the making, but then it also feels like it got here really quick.
I know. I feel like just yesterday we were talking about all of the reshoots they had to do and all that stuff, right? So
yeah, I mean, the fact that Moon Knight's going to end, and then 2 days later we get to go see Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
And then we'll have like a bit of a break before Thor, but...
Is there any Disney Plus shows? Oh yeah, it's Obi-Wan.
Obi-Wan and Miss Marvel.
I'll have to figure all that schedule out with
well, you're gone for...
And you are going for a week too, right?
Yeah, the end of June. Like June...
Yeah, end of June. Okay, so as a Christian Bale fan,
I thought you were going to say as a Christian.
As a Christian, will you be attending church when you're on vacation? No, as a Christian Bale
every morning for mass, twice on Sundays, and I sleep beside the priest. It's really weird.
He told you had to do that.
Yeah, that was part of
it. As a Christian Bale fan, are you excited to see him as like a comic book character? Even though it's a character you don't know?
I don't know, because I don't know what the tone of his character is. Like, it could come off...
We haven't seen him in any speaking parts in that trailer.
No.
It's just like little glimpses of him.
Yeah, I don't think he had a single line in that movie. Like, I want to hear his voice and see, like, maybe if they're doing... like,
imagine he was like, vengeance.
Yeah, like, is he doing some kind of weird, like, animated type voice where it's like... You don't know it's Christian Bale. Like, are they doing some kind of after effect on his voice to make it sound like spookier or something? Sure. Is he like a serious character, or is he more like...
I don't know. Like, I know he's a comic book character because I've seen pictures, but I don't know.
Like, the rest of the movie seems so like light, like kind of like comedic. Like, I don't know what the tone is.
It reminds me of like 80s like Flash Thompson.
Yeah.
Or Flash, what's his name?
It has its own style, and like, I don't know if like he's going to be like this threatening villain, or if it's going to be taken more of like a comedic tone to it. Like, I don't know what they're going.
I feel like we're going to see something pretty similar to Ragnarok.
Yeah, but yet another character that's crossing over from DC to Marvel.
Yeah, totally. So I think one of the other things that's cool that's worth mentioning is the figure of Gore that came out on the back of the packaging talks about his sword. And I can't remember the name of it, but the sword is actually given to him by the god of the symbiotes. It's like a symbiote sword. Like the comic book version has like symbiote goo all over it. And the action figure has like black, his hands where he would hold them are like all black.
That's cool.
Yeah, so I'm kind of wondering if we might see some kind of cool symbiote kind of thing.
My vote is probably not. because I can't see Sony letting them do anything cool with any of their characters other than Spider-Man.
I mean, the thing is it would only benefit them, right?
Oh, it would benefit them massively if they just went to Disney and was like, give us whatever amount of money you want, and we'll give you all the rights back, and we just take like 10% of the profits from the movie or whatever the fuck it is.
That'd be great.
And they just make that kind of deal. Like, we want $500 million up front, you get all the rights, and then we get 5% for the rest of the time on anything you do with these characters that we own. But you can do whatever you want with them from now on. And I'd be like, yeah, sold. But no, Sony, we're going to get fucking Morbius 2, Morbius Harder, and fucking...
I don't think we're going to get Morbius 2. It had the worst second week drop-off numbers of any comic book movie ever, I think I heard.
Yeah, I think
like, even worse than like Fantastic Four from 2016. Like, really, really bad.
Yeah. What's this?
Great. Let me see. Easy to read name says it'll probably just be some magic sword.
Yeah, I have a feeling that's the route they'll go with it. It'll have some kind of mystic power, but I don't think it'll be directly tied into the
It is called, on the back of the package, I believe it is called by that name, though. But it may not, I guess we'll have to see. But
yeah, I don't know. I don't think we'll get a Thor 5, though. I really don't.
Yeah, I don't know how, though. I guess we'll have to see how they wrap this up, right?
Yeah.
I am super excited. Ragnarok's one of my favorite MCU movies, so I'm pretty stoked about it. And like ever since Ragnarok, I've been a big Thor fan. So like, I love
Hemsworth is fucking ripped in that movie.
Yeah, he's great in Endgame and in Infinity War. So I'm super excited to see the story continue. And yeah, it's cool to see Korg. It's weird that we're not seeing Neek. I hope that he's going to see. But yeah, it's cool to see Korg. I like Tessa Thompson, so I'm glad we get to see more of her. And to be honest with you, I'm like actually kind of excited to see Natalie Portman come back and do some of this. I'm curious to see how the seriousness of that character blends with new Thor, like silly, dumb Thor. Like,
do you think we'll get Darcy back?
No, I don't think in this one. No,
I don't know. I kind of have a feeling she might be around for something.
Imagine she shows up with Wu. What's his name? Or no, what's his name? From the WandaVision. WandaVision, Jimmy. I thought it was Jimmy Woo. That might be his name, but like that might be the actor's name. Maybe. Randall Park.
Jimmy Woo.
It is Jimmy Woo.
Damn it, you're good. How do you have a memory for that, but you can't remember what we're doing in 3 hours? Fuck that. I'm amazed.
Selvig? That's what Easy to Read's name says. No, yeah. I don't think we'll see.
I don't think we'll get Selvig.
I don't either. So,
but I would not be surprised if Darcy made some kind of appearance. Even if it's just like a cameo of some sort, like maybe. Or like who knows? Like maybe just like Thor and Jane get married or anything like that. Yeah. Like she's like Jane's maid of honor or like whatever, and she could have a cameo that way. Like, yeah, like we never really got to meet Jane's parents, right?
Imagine it was the people who played Ben Stiller's parents.
That's what I was just gonna say. To meet the parents.
Oh, make a chili chonga! Their voice now.
It's the worst. Yeah, no, I think there would be a comedic sense there of like Thor meeting Jane's parents or whatever, but
that could be the after credit. Or
yeah,
the credit.
Yeah, sure. They're going out for waffle.
That's great.
No, I don't know. I think we need more Kat Dennings and everything. I think she's fucking awesome.
Kat Dennings is great. I like
she's funny and yeah, she was great in WandaVision. So she's got to do something. They got to bring her character back. Like it doesn't look like we're gonna get a WandaVision 2. So
yeah, I know. Did you hear? I saw that there's like a thing that said Wanda has almost the same amount of screen time in Doctor Strange as Doctor Strange does.
I would believe that.
Yeah.
I still find it very interesting that What If is going to have such a huge tie-in to Doctor Strange.
Well, we don't really know that. We know that there's a version of Doctor Strange coming to the MCU from the What If universe. But I mean, at this point, we're going to see multiple Doctor Stranges anyway, so they could just be like, this is the bad one. This could just be like that little extra bit that's like, for those of you that watch Doctor Strange, this is that one.
I mean, okay, I'll reword that. I think it's interesting that we're getting such tie-ins from the Disney Plus shows into the movies.
Yeah.
Because like the whole Wanda arc is not going to be comprehensive
if you have not seen
WandaVision.
Totally.
And like, I was talking to a guy at work who had not watched What If, and I was like, you might want to hop on that before you go see.
Yeah, I feel like
Doctor
WandaVision
Strange.
might be more important to know than
He had seen WandaVision, but he had not seen What If. And I was like, I have a feeling What If is going to be part of it. And he's like, it's very odd for them to choose that route to go, to tie these shows so dramatically into the canon films, just because, yeah, I'm sure there's a ton of people that go see the movies and don't have Disney Plus and have not seen these shows.
But again, I think Disney's already been good with this, with both Star Wars and with Marvel, that none of the stuff has been like 100% necessary. Like, they tackle enough of the information. And like I said, if they're going to use that bad Doctor Strange or Zombie Olsen, like Wanda from that zombie episode, like, you can explain that pretty quickly to the general public with just like a brief kind of a joke or a statement, right? You know, especially because the whole movie is revolving around these different universes that are, or multiverses, and that there's going to be multiple Doctor Stranges. So yeah, I feel like you could probably just explain that away with just a couple lines, right? So
no, you're not
it's going to be like icing on the cake for those who've seen it. So like the Bryce Dallas Howard, who was directing some of Ahsoka, she said basically to the public that anybody who's seen the Clone Wars animated series is gonna love Ahsoka. But it's not. I don't think they're gonna make it that like you need to watch Clone Wars in order to enjoy Ahsoka.
Sure.
But I think it's gonna take those characters to a whole other level. If you enjoyed Clone Wars and have seen it, you'll benefit from getting a richer storyline when you get to Ahsoka. Right?
Sure, but the difference there too is that those were all Disney Plus shows.
Yes.
Compared to like if a Star Wars movie came out, whatever, this year, let's say, and it had something to do with any of these characters. If you hadn't seen these shows, that movie being nonsensical would be different. You know what I mean? Like, I think if you're in on the Disney Plus shows already, I mean, obviously I'm not into the animated stuff, but I think you've seen like, you know, if you've watched Book of Boba Fett, you've probably seen The Mandalorian, or you're going to watch Obi-Wan or Ahsoka or whatever, right?
Yeah.
If they got you kind of thing. And I think like that's the same with the Disney Plus Marvel shows. It's like if you've watched WandaVision, you probably gave Falcon and Winter Soldier a shot, or Loki, or so on and so forth.
Right.
But I don't know. Who knows? I mean, maybe that's the way they're making these shows meaningful. Is like they realize that the problem with maybe Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or fucking the Netflix shows or whatever is that it didn't have a huge MCU tie-in. Maybe that's why people didn't buy in, you know.
But if that's being said, then that leads really well into our next topic of Moon Knight, because we were talking about it earlier, just saying it's weird that there's literally no tie-ins to the greater MCU.
Totally.
So, before we get into this, spoilers, are we going into Moon Knight now? Are we done with Thor? Thor, you excited?
Yeah, thumbs up.
I'm really excited.
I don't know if it'll be as good as Ragnarok, but I hope it is. And yeah,
there's been some great memes of that scene where Star-Lord's like, "Oh, you just look at the ones you love," and then Thor just kind of like pokes his kind of head in.
Yeah.
There's been some great fucking memes with using that.
I love their banter.
Me too.
Star-Lord and Thor. It's great. Just listening. Yeah, so spoilers for Moon Knight if you haven't seen Moon Knight yet.
Up to date.
We're gonna
3 and 4.
Yeah, we're gonna talk 3 and 4 mostly, but there'll be spoilers for the whole series so far. So
yeah. You first. I already know it. We talked about this and we're like, we should stop talking because this is good content.
It's fine. Look, it's not my favorite Disney Plus show of the Marvel series. I think it's probably the 3rd or 4th on the list. It's doing what it needs to do, but it also, I feel like, has wasted a lot of time. We're 4 episodes deep of 6, and I don't feel like we've made a ton of plot movement overall. I think the acting is really well done, but I also am kind of disappointed that Moon Knight's not more a part of it. As somebody that doesn't know anything about Moon Knight, like, maybe this is very close to the comics, but it definitely, I don't know. It's a letdown. I was expecting more from it.
Easy to read name says Moon Knight, more like Midnight.
Got that right.
Damn right.
You burned that show.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really agree, actually. Like, I agree with you on, like, wanting more Moon Knight, for sure.
Yeah.
I do think we've made a lot of progress. I feel like there's been quite a bit of story to tell, and they've kind of done a good job at doing that. Where I've kind of been falling off is like it doesn't really connect to the overall MCU, so like I kind of find myself looking for that.
Yeah.
And like you said, it's like I'd love to see more Moon Knight in action. We really have only gotten to see it like a bit, right? Like, you know, a little bit at the end of episode 1. I think 2 little spots in episode 2, and then 1 spot in episode 3, and then nothing in episode 4.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, and it's not that like I like Oscar Isaac. I think he's a great actor, and I love watching him play 2 different people. Like especially that scene where he kind of flips when he's at the sarcophagus and he's trying to like figure out how to like read that star map or whatever, and he kind of is flipping between Mark and Steven. I'm just like, man, this is like good. Yeah, like this is good. He's really fucking good. Yeah, but I just, I don't know. And I'm the same. Like I know the basics about Moon Knight.
Right.
Not a lot, but I know the basics. There's some things we'll talk about as I kind of dive into it. And I made a bunch of notes. I rewatched episode 3 and 4 yesterday, but again, like where it's not sticking with me because it doesn't feel like it's like really working in this universe that I love, right? So, you know, when I rewatched episodes 3 and 4 last night, like I picked up a lot of shit that like I missed on the first one, and I'm glad I did, because if I wouldn't have, like, you know, there would have been key things that I totally missed.
Right.
And I just, I don't know if it's just not grabbing me the way I want it to. You know, I like to be grabbed a certain way.
Oh, I know. Oh, I know. No, I agree with you for the most part. I think my plot issues are more, I still don't really know what's happening. Like, I know that's part of part of the point of the show is like you're supposed to be
Keep
just
guessing, right?
confused as
Steven
is. Yeah. Like I think that's the way it's shot on purpose. Is Steven's very confused, and they want you as a viewer to feel like you're kind of in Steven's shoes and not really sure what's going on. But I feel that after 4 episodes, Steven's bumbling, moronic, like I'm not sure what is going on kind of thing is kind of getting old on me.
Don't you feel like he kind of took a turn on that in episode 4? Because he kind of like, you know, he hits on Layla. And
he did, but like it's still, I don't know. I just, at some point, like when all this crazy shit's happening around me, I would let Mark take over. I'd be like, yeah, you're the badass of the group. Like I'm the fucking brainiac here.
But I think by the end he does.
Kind of, but like, I don't know. I think I'm just kind of over the whole Steven thing. Like, I don't know. Like, he's becoming kind of grating on me at some point. And, like, during the last episode, there was a lot of times where I'm like, shut the fuck up. This, like, let's get some fucking Mark back here, like, and just pound fucking people. But, like, he's just very, I don't know. He's obviously like supposed to be the puzzle guy and solving and the smart guy.
I love that he's a nerd. I like when he's in the Giza in the pyramid or whatever, and he's just like, oh my god,
yeah. And I mean, like I said to you, like I like that aspect of them going through the pyramid and like kind of solving puzzles and like climbing around and stuff. That reminded me of like Indiana Jones or The Mummy with Brendan Fraser, or like Uncharted, the video game, like stumbling around a ancient place and like looking at all this old shit that's cool and trying to figure out Tomb Raider and like stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
I like that aspect of it, and I think that's like a really cool. It stands alone in the MCU as like a different tone, different look. You know, the Egyptian stuff is like really cool, but
the Egyptian stuff's cool.
I really want to know like how this ties into the wider MCU, and I know they kind of said it's standalone, but I feel like there should have been some kind of mention of the blip by now and Thanos, and like how do these Egyptian gods tie into the wider MCU, or do they at all, or like what is true and what is in Mark's head or Steven's head? Like I know that's the point, but after 4 episodes I kind of felt like we'd be further along where we would like know cohesively like, okay, Mark is the actual person, Steven's in his head, and that side comes out, or he's had split personality disorder since birth, and this is how he's dealt with it, and for some reason, like, he hit his head and he's forgotten, or I don't know, like, explain how these are working together, and they still haven't really done that. It's very, in certain aspects, you have to let me in, and then there's other aspects where Mark just takes over, and clearly Mark was in control for a long period of time with Layla, and that's not really, like, explained, and like I said, the blip and all that kind of stuff, I want more in, and they just haven't done it. Maybe we will get more. Maybe for episode 5 we'll explain a ton of shit.
I think the thing about keeping us guessing is that when we get to the end of the series and they want to do some kind of like crazy twist or something like that,
yeah,
like it works in their favor, right? So I do get the point. Like I do get what they're doing, but like we kind of said before, this is like one of the things I was like kind of most excited about with Moon Knight is I kind of was hoping we were going to get something that was a bit more like kicky punchy, like something like you said, kind of more in the vein of like Daredevil, where it's like, you know, vengeance style kind of beat down.
That's exactly what I wanted.
And I don't feel like we've really gotten that. Don't get me, like some of the scenes we've seen with him have been pretty cool. Like when he jumped down, he made his cape into that like crescent moon kind of thing. Like that was fucking sick. But and then there's been some cool fight scenes like outside of the costume look too. Like we were talking about before we kind of started. Was like that opening scene on episode 3 where he's on the roof and he fights those 3 guys with the knives. It's like, man, that was a fucking awesome scene. That was so good. What a cool way to start that episode, right?
Yeah, no, I would like a flashback almost of like Mark as Moon Knight and in like, you know, previous to the whole Steven thing in episode 1, like showing him actually like beating the shit out of people and fucking doing his like badass whatever, like Moon Knight shit. Like, that's the stuff I kind of wanted out of this series. It's like, I know it gets tied into, like, Batman in a lot of people's minds. It's like, this is Marvel's Batman. But, like, it's kind of what I wanted out of it was, like, cool, let me have a Marvel Batman. Like, and we just really haven't got any of that. And that's kind of my biggest disappointment is, like, I wanted, like, a badass Punisher / Daredevil style show. Dark, gritty, like, really kind of toned up from a childish thing to a more dark, sinister adult thing. And we just really haven't got any of that.
Yeah, that would be my biggest. If I had to pick one issue and put it at the forefront, it's just like, I wish we were getting more Moon Knight kicking ass. Like, it would be cool to see. But, I don't know. I'm not saying I don't like it. I do like it. I wanted more, like, superhero antics, I guess, right? It's like, it's interesting enough, but it's not like hitting the crave that I was hoping for with this. But again, not that I was super eager for this either. Like I was happy to have something to watch, but like you know, it's not like I was like, woo, Moon Knight, right? Yeah.
I think like the guy at my work that I talked to about this kind of shit, he's a huge Moon Knight fan. The guy like loves Moon Knight, it's his favorite hero, and even him was like, yeah, I like it, but it's not exactly what I wanted out of the show. And I know, like, a lot of people were saying, like, it's had so many different writers for the comic books and shit that it's changed stylistically and tonally a ton. And certain people like certain writers more than others of the series and whatever. And I think a lot of, like, you know, I think every hero has that. But,
for sure. Especially that have been around for a long time.
Yeah, but I think a lot of people wanted this to hit a certain tone from the comics, and it's just not exactly fitting into that.
Yeah.
But
it sounds like they, like, again, from my friends in my local group who, like, know Moon Knight better, like, it sounds like they're taking quite a few liberties with all the different characters. Like, Mr. Knight being the suit that Steven wears when he's Moon Knight, and it's like that whole character apparently is, like, very, very different, where it's, like, a totally different persona. He's kind of more, like, a detective, and he wears the suit because the cops were like, we don't really want like vigilantes kind of walking around, so he's more just like, he goes in like a suit kind of thing, right? And it's just, those are the kind of things where they're making those changes that, you know.
I mean, you've got to adapt things to make it fit the universe, and it has to fit into the MCU in some stylistic way, so I don't think anything can be adapted one-to-one necessarily. And I think, like, even with X-Men starting to come in at some point, is like, yeah, some of those storylines may have to be mildly adjusted to fit this universe that they've created, but you also don't want Fox's Dark Phoenix, where it has nothing to do with the original storyline, really, other than the in-name. And so, yeah, I think it's a careful balancing act of getting the story elements that people love correct, but also changing it enough that it makes it kind of new, but doesn't change it enough that you're like, oh, this is not what I wanted at all.
Right.
And they've done good with that, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, but no, Moon Knight's fine. Like I said, I would give it 6, 5, 7 out of 10. Like, I don't think it's remarkable.
Yeah.
I think the acting's really good, and I love Oscar Isaac, but it's just not exactly what I want.
What do you think of Layla?
I like Layla.
Yeah, me too. I like her too.
I would watch a Layla show of him just fucking being cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I quite like her too. We'll go over some. I took a bunch of notes yesterday because I was on it.
Yeah, sure.
I'm just going to quickly zip through some of them. Oh, at the beginning of episode 3, when he's fighting those guys on the roof. So I was gonna say, like, I think next week we'll probably get introduction to that next version of Moon Knight with the next persona, which is Jake.
Right.
So Jake is another one of his personas, and I think next week we'll be introduced. I feel like there were hints to him at the end of episode 4 when we show up in that psych ward or whatever, and like he's running down the thing, and he like runs with both Steven and Marker together, and they run by that room that has that sarcophagus that's shaking.
Right.
I think that's going to end up being Jake, because Steven came out of the sarcophagus when Mark opened it.
Right.
In the psych ward or whatever. So I think at the beginning of episode 3, when he killed those guys, or I think he kills them, right? It's hard to tell when they're all jumping around. But when he's like, "Oh, it's a bloodbath," he's like, "I didn't do it." And he's like, "Steven, what did you do?" Yeah. I feel like that was probably Jake.
Sure.
The next persona. That's why both of them are like, "You did this. No, you did this."
It just, like, with that whole ending of episode 4, it makes me really, I don't know what's real and what's not anymore.
Yeah.
And I think that's intentional.
Me too.
But it also throws, like, everything kind of out of whack of, like, okay, this whole insane asylum angle in his head, and as he's, like, fading away from getting shot or whatever, like, this is where he, like, his safe place in his brain.
Yeah.
Where all the personas kind of live.
Yeah. Did you notice in the psych ward, it's all the people that have been from the show? So, like, Layla's there, obviously, Ethan Hawke's character is the doctor. Right. But, like, the statue guy or whatever, he's there, he's holding up the bingo number.
There's, like, the woman.
The boss, his boss, she's there too. So it's like, yeah, I thought that was cool. Even the fish was there, the goldfish.
Right. Yeah, and, like, all the little knick-knacky Egyptian things that are all over, scattered all over and stuff like that. Yeah, it's really cool. But like I said, like I think it's all in his brain, and that's how he's dealing with, like, dying or whatever, is like he's going to a safe spot where all his personas kind of live, and everything he loves or knows is all there too.
Yeah.
But it also kind of throws on the whack of, like, what is real and what are we actually seeing that's true, and what is in his head.
It's very Fight Club.
Yeah. And like I think, like I said, I think it's intentional, but it's also frustrating as a viewer, going like, okay, now I don't know what is real and what's not, what is actually happening and what is.
But that's absolutely the point.
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah,
but that's what I mean. Is like it's that's where I wish there was more movement in the plot of, like, how his personas work and how they react to each other and how they don't know about each other. And, like, I wish there was more, like, detail on that within the plot line of the show.
Yeah, that would be nice. I think it's coming, but just a matter of time. That guy, Anton Bogart, the guy who Layla and Mark go and visit to see that sarcophagus or whatever, he died either right after making the movie or show or something like that.
I saw that,
he also mentions Madripoor again, so I guess that is technically an MCU reference, technically, because they reference that in Bucky Falcon.
Right. So,
kind of cool, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely said during Falcon that Madripoor was going to come back into play later into the MCU, and it was going to be like a pivotal city.
Well, that's a huge Wolverine in particular, but X-Men location.
So I think that's why they're setting it up, is like when Wolverine does come a part of the MCU, like, that's going to be something that's pivotal.
Yeah. There's a comment where Mark, maybe Steven, I can't remember, somebody makes a comment that Khonshu wants Layla to be his avatar.
Right.
Do you think we will get a female Moon Knight at some point in this?
It wouldn't surprise me if by the end of this, she has taken on one of the personas. Maybe it's not Khonshu necessarily, but she is, like, one of the other gods' avatars or whatever. But I don't know. Again, like, it was what we said a long time ago, is the MCU is going to have a major issue that every leading character in the MCU is going to be female soon, which is fine, but I think, like, they're going to run into a issue with that. Like, you've got to have a little bit of diversity within your characters to really have compelling storylines, and if every lead character is a woman, you're limited to the stories you can tell, I think.
Well, I do think that there's definitely a certain audience that won't partake in that, for sure. Right? So I feel like they could shoot themselves in the foot with it. I'm of the mind that, like, honestly, if the stories are good, I don't care. But
I just think it just limits you.
Yeah, the way I kind of look at it is, like, it's never been limited before, and if you look in the past, like, you know, white males are generally at the forefront, right?
And I think that's limiting too.
Yeah.
I think the more diversity you can have, the more compelling stories you can tell, because you can see it from so many different angles and so many different viewpoints and backgrounds and everything like that. Like, I think when all your lead characters are women, that's just the same as all your lead characters being male.
Oh, I agree.
All your lead characters being white. Like, I think sexual orientation and all that stuff should be explored within the universe, because I think that tells the most compelling story.
Yes,
like,
I agree.
So yeah, like, it's a shame when you see all these fucking movies getting pulled out of certain countries because they have like gay characters.
You did that for Multiverse Madness, wasn't it? Got pulled out of Saudi Arabia. For gay, lesbian, LGBT.
It's fucking bullshit.
Yeah, that is.
It's 2022, not
I know,
1850.
I love how we're in 2022 and fucking people are getting bitchy about who people want to fuck. Like, give me a fucking break. So ridiculous.
And yet nobody wants to fuck me.
This is about to turn into a different show.
This isn't Pornhub.
Save it for OnlyFans.
Exactly.
Moose Milk, OnlyFans.
It's coming. It's coming. You wanted to see some milk porn? Well, hey.
There it is. But yeah, that's all. I mean, most of the stuff we touched on during conversation. But
yeah, I'm still banking on the idea that this could tie into Apocalypse somehow. Just the fact that they're releasing more of these gods and stuff out of things, and like the ending of episode 4 was like whatever that fucking thing is, that other god person,
Alexander the Great.
That was like Avatar,
right?
Like, whatever the fuck it was.
Yeah.
The fact that they keep releasing other gods, and you're seeing like all these other avatars that all represent other gods and stuff like that. Like, I could totally see them. This is how they tie in Apocalypse, like starting to become a thing. Is like the last episode of Moon Knight, they push open a coffin or something like that, and it releases something. And
that'd be a cool way to introduce a new big bad, especially if you were gonna isolate it to like the X-Men side. You could.
Well, and the fact that it doesn't seem like they're really intent on making like a Moon Knight season 2.
Yes.
Like, it seems like they just want to pull Moon Knight into the wider world.
Yeah.
I think that would be an easy way to do it. Is like a future X-Men movie or a future whatever movie that you can tie in Moon Knight into that. Of like, yeah, I fucked up and I pushed open this and this put out Apocalypse and it's my bad, but I'll help you guys take it down or whatever. You know?
Oscar Isaac taking down his old character.
That'd be cool too.
Apocalypse, Oscar Isaac.
That'd be weird, but it'd be cool.
Imagine Oscar Isaac becomes the new avatar for Apocalypse, and then he's Apocalypse again.
Apocalypse too.
Oh no! That'd be great.
Who knows? I mean, I don't know. I just feel like this can't be the only storyline that they're telling. Like, this whole Ethan Hawke character can't be like the main villain, and this is where it ends. It's like, oh, we take down fucking Harrow, and then that's it. That's the story we had to tell. Like, I feel like it has to have something bigger.
Yeah, I do agree. I do agree with that too. So, especially because we need to find somewhere to leave Moon Knight at the end, right?
Yeah.
And the thing is with Moon Knight is you could have him show up anywhere and you don't even need Oscar Isaac. You could just have him do the voice because you could just keep him in the mask, right?
Right. Well, basically what they did with Stark and Iron Man, right? Yeah. Like, is like Robert Downey Jr. didn't have to really do anything. He was in on green screen and they just showed his face inside the mask kind of thing. Like, Oscar Isaac can do the voice, and all of a sudden he loses himself into the Moon Knight character and he's just in costume all the time.
It'll be interesting to see where we kind of land on that. So
yeah, I hope that episode 5 and 6 really wrap it up in a like a really meaningful way and really pull me back in and like, oh wow, those were great episodes, and like really heightens the show for me, and it ends up being really, really one of my favorite shows. But as of right now, it'd be like 3rd or 4th.
Yeah, I hope we get Khonshu released from his statue form or whatever.
Has to be in the next episode.
In the beginning. Half at least of that next episode, because I really would like to spend more time with Moon Knight. Yeah. And it makes me wonder if we do get Jake, the other persona, does he get his own suit as well? Sure. And if he does, what does that look like? Yeah. Are we going to have 3 different costumes from Moon Knight in the first season? That's kind of crazy, but I mean, cool. But
that sells toys right there for you.
Totally.
Different costume toys.
They put both Moon Knight and Mr. Knight in the next wave, and I'm buying both of them because they look good. Yeah, they look good. So.
Yeah, no, I think that's probably the route they're going to go, but who knows? I mean, it could go a lot of different directions, and I'm sure there's things we're not even thinking of that is involved in the comics or whatever that we just don't know about. So, I mean, if you're in the chat and you know more about Moon Knight, definitely you can fill us in.
If we're not seeing it, we apologize. We're sitting far away from this.
Jake will probably have the modern white and black suit.
Oh, that would be cool. I like that. That's the one I use for my story today.
Okay.
It's like that white armor on the black jumpsuit. That's good. That'd be really dope.
Yeah, no, for sure. I don't know. Like I said, I really like Oscar Isaac. So I mean, if he's gonna play another character, that's cool because he's a really good actor.
Yeah.
It's the same as like what Tatiana Maslany did with
with Orphan Black.
Orphan Black. Like she was like 7 different characters.
That was crazy, and it was crazy how diverse those characters were.
And she's really good at separating like her accent, her persona, and the way she moves, and like all that kind of stuff for each different character. And Oscar Isaac's doing the exact same thing now.
Yeah.
So now we need an Oscar Isaac, Tatiana Maslany crossover.
Yeah.
And they get to play 15 different characters.
Yeah, 20 different characters, yes.
Even though she's She-Hulk. But whatever.
She-Hulk and Moon Knight.
Yeah. She-Hulk, Moon Knight crossover.
It's just them just doing character work.
Yeah, and I like it. It's a sketch comedy. They're on stage at SNL.
It's funny.
No, like I said, I'm interested to see where it goes. I'm actually like hopeful that it will end on a huge... I know. Yeah.
Me too.
And then Doctor Strange, obviously.
Oh, buddy.
I'm so excited.
I'm ready for Doctor Strange. I am ready.
What a good birthday present.
Oh, yeah, that's right there. Yeah.
May 6th. Day after my birthday.
Yeah, man. Sweet.
Yeah, it's good.
Nice. I like that.
Yeah.
So I have to go to the movies with our pants on celebration.
No, you're going on probably my birthday, aren't you?
I think I am. You go Friday, right?
Yeah, I go Friday.
Thursday.
I'm going early Friday, like 4 o'clock.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so...
Yeah, I'm pretty excited for Multiverse of Madness.
It's short, though.
Is it?
2 hours, 5 minutes.
That's it? Oh, damn.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever. As long as it's a good story, I don't really care.
It's just surprising for Spider-Man being almost 3 hours.
Especially if it's going to be cameo central.
Yeah.
Which to me tells me it's going to be because they're not letting any critics say anything until 2 days before. Usually they give it a week, but this time they're not. They're doing it.
They don't want spoilers.
Yeah, they don't want spoilers.
And I bet you the critics that get to review it are going to have a fucking huge list of things they can't even say.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, sure.
You can't spoil this, you can't spoil that. You can give your impressions, you can give it a rating, but you can't talk about anything after this point.
Yeah, seeing anybody, especially because of the cameos,
Yeah, which is good, because I don't want things spoiled.
Me neither. I'd love to have I used to always do spoilers for MCU movies, because it's just like, I like to know what I'm looking for, usually, right? But since I've been going, over the last couple of years, since I've been kind of doing multiple viewings, and I always see it opening night, I kind of stopped. I've kind of stepped away from reading the spoilers when they come out. Unless it's dog shit, like Morbius. I read Morbius because I was like, I want to see how horrible this is going to be.
I think,
to look at.
I think, when you're anticipating the movie, the spoilers are kind of ruining it.
Yes.
But if it's a bad movie, then it's well, you're not spoiling anything for me because I already know it's going to be a shit.
It's going to be terrible, yeah.
But I don't want to know end credit stingers or anything like that.
Either.
I want that to be a surprise. I
used to them. Yeah. Now I don't. Now that I see them usually multiple times, now I'm I like to wait for that first one. And this one in particular, I feel like knowing the cameos in it would be a bummer. But,
well, especially if we're getting a new Wolverine or something like that, where it'd be if that's ruined for me, I'm going to be pretty bummed out.
Yeah, I don't think we will. I honestly don't think that any of the characters we get in I feel like Multiverse of Madness is going to be a way to continue the multiverse story into this existing phase. Yeah. And to give us a bunch of member berries. That's what I think. I don't think we're going to get a new X-Men team. I think we'll get introduced to the idea of mutants this time. Yeah. But I mean, to get any new casting on X-Men, especially because there's no movies in the making, I don't see it happening. Yeah. I think we'll get more Fox X-Men? Yeah, I think we might. Maybe we end up getting Hugh Jackman. I don't know.
I'm so hopeful for Deadpool, but
I honestly do think we'll get Deadpool. Even if it's just a quick flash, I do think we'll get Deadpool. And I think a lot of the cameos in this are going to be just that. They're going to be they'll be passing through time and Hugh Jackman Wolverine is drinking at the bar or whatever. And they're like, oh, that's, Wolverine. Yeah. So I do think that there will be some of that. And I do think there will be a ton of fan service.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I know. I agree with that. I can't see it being a plot point of here's the X-Men. I think it will be very limited. Here's a 2-minute, scene with Patrick Stewart. Here's a 30-second scene with character A, B, C, whatever. But,
totally.
I do think it's weird that we're like basically half done this phase and we still don't like really know what the whole story arc of this phase is, other than multiversal shit. But
I see I see what they're starting to build. So, and the thing is it's not one big thing; it's lots of
little things.
random things. So,
Yeah.
I'm fine with it. I know you like to have a big overarching thing, which I do think is coming, but I just, I think this phase is really focused on multiverse, and I think we're going to get to the end of that, and we're going to see like the repercussions of all this multiverse jumping, which is going to ultimately close it off, make this new universe where we have other characters folded in, and we have explanations for X-Men and Fantastic Four and all this shit. And then I think we'll start building towards a new big bad or a couple big bads, right? Maybe we see Kang, maybe we start hinting at Galactus too, and start really laying some big steps.
I think Kang will be involved in Multiverse of Madness.
Oh, me too. I do too. I think Multiverse of Madness is going to pave what the rest of this phase is going to be.
Because I can't see Thor like really touching on much of
it. Seems too self-contained at this
Yeah,
point.
and like I don't know if Black Panther is going to have room to do that either.
But that being said, maybe Jane is from a different multiverse too, right?
Yeah.
Maybe that's how they explain how she shows up.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? But like, I'm just thinking like the future next couple movies are probably going to be pretty self-contained. Like Black Panther has a lot of stuff to talk about with the passing of Chadwick, and like how you set up a new Black Panther or whatever they're going to do with it. Like that's a huge story arc, and can you add in all this multiversal stuff on the side? Like probably not.
It doesn't really work with that character either,
No,
right? It's not like he has any ties to it either.
But I could see Wakanda, like that rumor of like Storm being introduced in Wakanda.
Yes.
I could see that element of like maybe the multiverse coming in that way, where it's just like a couple characters or something like that. But
Halle Berry gives birth to a 20-year-old. It's the new Storm.
But it also could be the way to bring back Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah,
multiverse shit is like that's your Black Panther 2 tie-in thing,
The thing is especially after getting bad Black Panther or Killmonger in What If, I'm like,
that'd be cool.
That'd be kind of. He plays a good bad guy. What can I say? I like him as a bad guy
for sure.
So I don't know if I could take him serious as a good guy now.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're gonna do with Black Panther 2, man. That seems like.
I still think that movie's getting delayed, but.
Oh yeah, I definitely think it is.
I don't think.
I don't even know if they even pick up filming again. I heard that they kind of put it on hold for a bit.
What?
Panther.
Oh yeah, Wakanda Forever.
Wakanda Forever.
I forgot even what it was called. Still says it's coming this year.
Yeah, they haven't made any dates or anything about like if it's changing. So.
Still says November 2022.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's going to finish filming. Pre-production filming.
Oh, okay, so it did resume in January. Okay.
Wrapped March 24th.
Okay. So it just wrapped.
Yeah, so I mean, they still have 6 months of editing and whatever, but
I don't know. I kind of have a feeling it's going to get pushed to like February next year.
That'd be interesting. Did someone say something? Black Panther 2 seems like something. Done?
Doing production. Yeah, I think it's been a mess. From all the leaked reports, is they've had massive COVID issues.
In fairness, that's a super hard. Like, it's hard to follow Black Panther 1. I know you don't like Black Panther 1, and I'm not saying it's the most compelling MCU movie, but it's super hard to compete with the death of a beloved MCU character. Like, how do you make Black Panther without Black Panther?
Yeah.
And then how do you do it where you put someone like Shuri in the front position or, I don't know. Like, to me, like, I liked Shuri's character, but like, she was in no way compelling like Chadwick was to me.
No. I would agree with that. And like I said, like it wasn't anything personal against Chadwick. I think he was a great actor, but the movie itself, I just thought was kind of a mess, and I didn't find it overly interesting or compelling in any way. Like, I think
we are so opposite on that side, but
no, that's fair. I mean, like I said, it was a beloved movie. A lot of people love that movie. It just wasn't for me.
Yep.
I hope the second one's great. I think like the characters in Wakanda itself is very interesting.
Yeah, me too.
And like I love seeing like all the what do you call them?
Dora Milaje.
Yeah, Dora Milaje in Falcon, or it was Falcon.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Falcon Winter Soldier.
Yeah, like I like that aspect of it. I love seeing Wakanda as part of like the Avengers Endgame and everything like that. And,
Yeah.
like, I think it's super interesting. I love all their techie stuff. And like, yeah, if that's how like Storm or something's introduced, like that's super.
That'd be
compelling.
awesome. I'd love that.
I just felt like Michael B. Jordan was the most interesting character in that movie, and then they kill him off, and I was like, well, that's a bummer.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. I hope it's great. I hope it comes out this year, and that'd be awesome.
Me too. I hope we don't get any more delays. I'd love to
All
see
the DC stuff getting pushed for the most part.
We didn't talk about DC. We should. What time we got? 12:05. Want to talk quickly about DC?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what we touched on in the last episode, if we talked about it at all. I don't remember. But
Well, it hasn't happened since. So did you know what you heard that Discovery bought?
yeah.
So
They want to reset the universe.
and they want to reset the universe now. They want something more efficient. So basically, what we're gonna get is we should talk about Ezra.
Yeah. Well, all right. So the start of this was that the Flash got pushed to, I think it's summer next year. It was supposed to come out this year. The Flash was their big movie that was going to kind of reset the universe because they're going to do Flashpoint. Michael Keaton's coming back to play Batman. This was their whole like reset up of the universe and everything like that. Clearly, they were going to set up Robert Pattinson to be a part of the universe, and that's what we theorized on the previous podcast. Was that they were pushing the movie because they wanted to
Robert did so well.
Robert Pattinson to be in the movie somehow, and they were going to reshoot some like pickups or whatever.
That doesn't mean it's happening. That was just our thought.
That was our thought.
It just seemed like as
Literally-
soon as the Batman did well, we got Flash delays. It was like,
I
we're
think
doing
that
reshoots.
they knew the Ezra Miller shit was going to come out, and they were like, well, we got to hop on this grenade somehow, and we're going to push the movie until this is all figured out or forgotten about.
Yeah. The thing is now he's been arrested, I think, 3 times in a month.
Yeah.
For physical abuse or physical assault.
It's not good.
Yeah.
And there was rumors online that now they're even not sure if they can put the movie out without changing the character. Then we found out, I think, earlier this week or last week that Discovery bought DC.
Yeah.
So
They're probably not going to want to. They'll probably want to distance themselves from.
they're definitely not going to be a part of that drama. And then the head of Discovery or whatever came out and basically was like, they've fucked up the universe so badly that we want it to be basically reset. They've completely underutilized Superman, which is like one of their tentpole characters.
Yeah, I did hear him say that.
And that why are we not putting out Superman movies and so on and so forth? So it sounds like they basically want to scrap everything.
At this point, it's the only real way to save it. I feel like Flashpoint is going to feel too much like an afterthought, especially coming out after Multiverse of Madness and No Way Home.
And the fact that we really haven't got movement on Wonder Woman 3.
Right.
Kind of, I mean, it's not surprising because of how bad 1984 was, but it's also surprising that, like, again, one of their main tentpole characters and probably the best DC movie outside of the Batman, like, Wonder Woman was fantastic.
Yeah.
The second one sucked, but I mean, the first one was really, really good. So you're not already starting, like, that movie came out, 2 years ago now or a year ago now? Like, you think you would start hearing rumblings of, like, yeah, Wonder Woman 3 is shooting and it's going to take place in whatever year. And, you know, I know there was talk that, like, she was kind of burnt out and needed a break from acting for, like, a year. Yeah, Gal Gadot. But you would think that, like, okay, let's move forward on what we're doing with this. And clearly there's some hesitation behind the scenes. So that whole universe, I think, is going to be scrapped.
So I personally think that's funny because
I know
I'm not a DC fan. I know putting out content that's good gives Marvel something to fight for too. So I do agree that good content being out there is
competition always gives you, you know,
better quality
stuff. But it's also to a point where, like, how deep are they into Aquaman 2 and the Flash 2 or Flash and whatever else, all the other Black Adam I know is already being shot. Like, they've already spent hundreds of millions of dollars on all these other movies. What do you do with these 3 other movies now? You scrap them, you put them out, and then
it starts to get weird when you start piecemealing, like, Gal and Jason Momoa stay the same characters, but we get new everyone else, and then there's Pattinson Batman and
right. And, like, are you willing to throw away, you know, hundreds of millions of dollars to reset this universe? Do you put these movies out basically what Fox did when they already knew that they were being bought by Disney, and then you put out, you know, the stinker of fucking Dark Phoenix and fucking New Mutants and all that shit that they knew the franchise was dead anyway, but hey, let's put out this garbage and just really put the nail in the coffin. Like, I don't know. I think DC's fucked. I don't know how you fix the universe at this point.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you.
But there was talk too that like Discovery was like, why do we not have a Kevin Feige like
Person,
head honcho running this? Like, what are we doing?
I think they've tried that a couple times. Like I know Jeff Johns took it for a bit. He was like the head guy at DC, but I mean even that.
Well, I think they wanted Zack Snyder to kind of do that originally.
Yes, I think so too.
And then
and then he did the.
Well, he had to leave even Justice League.
Yeah.
And he had a tragedy within his family, and he left. And I mean, that movie I don't think was going to be good no matter what happened. But I don't think you want Zack Snyder running that universe anyway. I mean, he has a very distinct style and tone, and I don't think that you can have him shoot every fucking movie within the universe.
Yeah.
And to have other directors have to comply to his style and tone, I think is not great either.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know Marvel's kind of doing that, where like all the directors have to kind of fit in within the MCU, but I don't know. It's different. Like when you're really dark and gritty compared to like, hey, we want this to be fun and colorful. I think a lot of more directors can shoot that style of like fun, colorful action films rather than this dark, gritty, super stylized tone. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know where you go with that fucking thing. I like I said, the Batman was great.
Yeah, I like that.
There was good movies within the DCEU, but there's a lot more sinkers.
Yeah, I would agree with that. They're definitely missing more than they're making. So
yeah, so
for sure,
we'll see. I guess. I mean, I don't know. Stay tuned for something. We also didn't touch on that. The Spider-Man animated movies got pushed.
They did get pushed. That's a bummer.
I'm not all that excited, but Into the Spider-Verse. What did it? Part 1, Part 2 got
Across the Spiderverse,
whatever the fuck it's called. The first part got pushed to summer next year, and the second part is the following year. I think 9 months later. So if you're looking forward to those movies, you're going to be waiting a little longer.
Sucks.
Animation is very hard. It takes a long time, and I think that's part of the reason is I think COVID. Still people working from home and everything like that. Like you're seeing it a lot with video games. It's very hard to work from home and communicate as a team.
Yeah.
For all this different, animation and everything like that. Yeah. And, so we'll see, I guess. I hope those movies are great. But again, I wasn't that into Spider-Verse 1 or whatever. So
yeah, I love Spider-Verse. I think it's one of my favorite Spider-Man movies. So I'm a little bummed about the delay, but if it's what it needs, then it's what it needs. So
can't make it worse.
I mean, at the end of the day, I'll always let Sony take more time because they are the kings of not taking their time. So if they're going to take their time, I'm hoping it's for good reason. And sure, I hope that
maybe Morbius taught them a lesson too. Maybe they saw Morbius, tanking after the first weekend. And
maybe they're like, "Oh shit, we need to take Morbius out of this."
Well, not even that, but just like, hey, we got to make sure these movies are good and make money.
Yeah.
And we don't want to fucking put out something subpar. So, like, if Morbius was a train wreck, then, like, hey, let's take our time with these and make sure that they're as good as they can possibly be.
You mean because Morbius was a train wreck?
Well, you know what I mean. From their viewpoint, I don't think they see Morbius as a train wreck. I think
they could look at the sales and be like, this is a train wreck.
Yeah. But I don't know if they can. I mean, they're still fans, I guess, of movies, you would hope. But I just feel like these businessmen don't look at it as like quality. They look at it as like a financial transaction, and that's it.
Yeah.
It's hard to say, but I would love to like actually get like a person-to-person talk with some of these head honchos of studios and actually see if they give a fuck or if it's just all money.
Yeah. You put them in their place.
Well, not me. I'm just saying, like, I would love to actually have like a human conversation with these people rather than like, hey, we have to put out this press release that's viewed by 100 different people, and we're making sure that every single thing is, company focused and it's like corporate talk and it's not like real people talk.
Yeah.
But
what's happening right now?
Yeah, man. Well, we missed a week and the world exploded.
The world does explode.
Yeah. Anyway,
done?
I think that's it.
I think we're done. I have to go pee again.
Well, I'll let you.
Great.
All right. Well, that's it for this episode. I hope everybody enjoyed it. That was Pea Corner with Matt. We're together. And we'll be together for a long time. So enjoy this. You can look at our cute faces together. But if you haven't followed Matt yet on YouTube, I want you to go do that now.
Hey, we got Whip Wednesday Lives resuming on Wednesday.
There you go.
And I have a guest.
See?
Draven Arts. at Craven Arts LTD.
So
A boy.
if you don't follow him on YouTube already, you're missing out on that shit.
You are.
So fucking go do that.
You should.
Follow him on Instagram at Customs by Matthew. You can follow me at Moose Milk Media. Get the podcast on whatever podcast service you want, and YouTube, and here, and I don't know, anywhere else you want. And we'll be back next week talking Moon Knight episode 5 and any other news that happens throughout this next week.
I'll be down there next week.
I don't know if that's exactly where you want to be, but you are kind of down there, but
Yeah, I am down there.
we're good at tech. We're old.
We know tech.
We don't know the TikToks, right?
YouTubers, professional YouTubers.
Yeah.
It's the YouTube.
Go play your Nintendos, all right?
Go play your Nintendos. Get
Catch
the
those
Game Boys.
Pokemon. So thanks everybody for watching, and we appreciate it, and we will see you next week.
Bye, Ryan.
Bye, man.
Ah!